Right. Good afternoon. So some of you asked me a small, clarification about this one, the difference between B tag and the strong tag. And also the difference between the tag IE and EM. Right, I already introduced, but I didn't explain the difference between them because I thought that they may not be important for someone who learns in grade 11. But since you have asked me, I have to, clarify that one. Look, listen to me. Both B and strong display a text in bold manner. Okay, both will behave the same, but definitely there is a difference between these two. But when you see visually, they look bold. Agree? I already applied, right? So you can use B or strong. They can display a text in bold. Okay. When it comes to I and EM, they also seem to be same. They can show a text in italics, which means it goes slant, right? It shows italic. But at the same time, they have their own differences, right? We can differentiate both I and EM in a particular point, right? But visually, they show italics. Okay, let me explain these two first. Maybe with the help of a small coding, I try to explain. Look here, let's say I just want to type something like without strong internet I close the strong here. Email is impossible. Okay. I have a sentence there. Without internet, email is impossible, but not the word internet is in between two strong tags, right? Okay. I bet I break this line and I want to add another sentence, right? Let's start the word B. Write something, right? Let's say I can put any word like search engines or something. Search engines. You close the bold. Okay, have a look at the output first. Okay, I will increase the zoom. Right, look here. Now, so see visually, both internet and search engines look same. You cannot see any differences, right? Visually, they are same. Both of them are in bold. But look at them. When I write the sentences as a program or as a person, when I write the program, I use the word strong here. I didn't want be there. I wanted to add strong there because, you know, in this particular sentence, in the first sentence, I wanted to give the importance for the word internet. Okay, in the first sentence, look at that. In the first sentence, without internet, email is impossible. So the importance must be given on internet, on the word internet. So whenever you want to give importance for a word, better use the word strong. Actually, users cannot see any differences, right? As a person who views the web page, you cannot realize anything. You don't know whether strong is used or B is used, right? But in terms of, or in the point of view of a programmer, the person who writes, you can understand, right? So now I can understand that the word internet is given much importance because the word strong is there. But look at the second one, that is just a word. So don't think that they are similar. In the first one, the importance has to be given on the word internet. But in the second one, it's just a word. I wanted to display only in bold, right? But you can't say that the importance must be given on this word search engine. That's not my point. It may be just a word, right? Maybe just a word or phrase. So there, I didn't want strong, right? Here, I don't want strong because for me, this word is not given much importance or great importance. Have you understood? Actually, it depends on the program. So when we think some words or phrases need to be given greater importance, use the word in strong. But if you want to display a word in bold only, it is not important, but you want to display in bold only, then use the B. Have you understood? But when you display them on the screen as an output, you cannot find any differences. So that's why I use the word visually, they are same. But in terms of the coding, you have to put the right words in the right places. Have you understood? Understood or not? Should I explain again?
No, sir.
You got the point, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So look, if these are asked in exams, for example, say, you know, the model of the second part, right? The coding, the source code is given, the output also given, blanks left. You have to fill the blanks with words. So for example, in the output web page, there is a word in bold. Okay, there is a word in bold that is left as blank in the source code. So you have to write B or strong. Assume both answers are given in the list, right? Both B and strong are given in the list. Okay, so if both of them are given in the list, so you have to read the output carefully. If the output seems to be given as importance, better go with strong. Have you understood? So if the output is not given as importance, better use the word B. For example, here, assume this is given, right? The output is given. And also the coding is given, right? But here you have a blank, right? They put the blank here. You have to write the tag. Okay, in these two blanks, you have to write the tag. But you know the paper model, right? Assume in the list, in the answer, both B and strong are given. So now you have a confusion whether a B or strong is applicable. Maybe sometimes in examination, in your final examination, they may accept both. But the most important answer here is strong, because as a person, you can read and understand the sentence. So there you can understand that without this word or without internet, you cannot get email. So the importance has to be given, or I can say greater importance has to be given on internet. So it would be better to go with strong. Okay, so it maybe bold also accepted in your exam, right? I'm not sure, but this is the most appropriate word. Okay, so this is the difference between strong and bold. Visually they show the same thing, but you have to write the right word in the right places. If a word needs to be given much importance, go with strong. If it is only to be in bold, use B. Okay, right. Similarly, we have the other option, right? I and EN. Here also same idea. Look, as we discussed earlier, both will display text in italics. But here also, say you want to display a phrase or maybe word in italics only. It is just a word you want to display in italics. It is not given as much importance. You want to display just in italic shape. So go with I, italics. But if you want to emphasize the word, which means if you want to give much importance like this, right? So if you want to, that's the meaning of em, right? Emphasize. So if you want to emphasize a word in a particular point, better go with em. So here also, in users point of view, or in viewers point of view, both will display the same thing. Users cannot differentiate the thing, but as a person who writes the coding, you can choose the right one. For example, let's say here I can write 2 other sentences. Here also I can change that, but I want to take another one. See, I just want to display text, right? Like Sri Lanka cricket or something. So in this particular instance, I just want to, right? I just want to display this word Sri Lanka in an italic shape. It doesn't mean that the importance or the emphasis needs to be given on Sri Lanka. This is just a word, see, Sri Lanka cricket. But I don't want to display, or I don't want to give much priority or much importance for this word. That's why I use I. But in another example, say, I can say Google is the best search engine. Right, now look here. Okay, have a look at the output first. You can predict the output, right? Both will be the same. Right, look here. See, Sri Lanka goes italics, and even the best goes italics. So as a viewer, we cannot differentiate these 2 things. We may think that both may be italic, or both may be em, right? We cannot realize. But when we write, we can put the right tags in the right places. See, as I told you earlier, in the first sentence, you know, the importance or the emphasis is not to be given for this word. It's just a word, right? But here, look at that, Google is the best search engine. So here the word best needs to be given great importance. So it needs to be emphasized, right? Because in this particular sentence, we are talking about a search engine, but Google is highlighted as the best one. So here the importance needs to be given. So better go with EM. So say in your MCQ, there may be a question, which of the following is not an input device? Which of the following is not? Look at the word not. So that not needs to be highlighted. The word not is just it is not just a word. It must be given great importance, because as a student, you have to give much importance or much, emphasize on that word. So if I want to display that word in a web page, definitely I have to use EM. But if a word needs to be shown in italics, better go with I. It is not important, but needs to be shown in italics, so go with I. Clear? So this is the difference between I and EM. I don't know who asked that question, but someone put me in the WhatsApp, right? So I hope that you all understood. Any clarification needed? No, right? Okay, I will give these theories as a printed material later, but I did not finish it yet. I'm still, preparing that from the very beginning to maybe at the end, that things will be included in that particular tool. So you can refer that one. Even your book also the best reference for, especially for HTML, because it has plenty of things. It has the source code, even it has the output. Even you can see the, colorful outputs there. Sometimes if we give, printouts, there may be only black prints. So you cannot differentiate the color things there. But your book has everything in color material, so it would be a better resource for, especially for unit number 5, right? Okay, one more clarification. Listen to me. Look here. P align equal within double quotes justify okay, some paragraphs there and we close the paragraph. Okay, so assume this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. So we already studied these things, but I wanted to clarify something because that was mentioned in your book wrongly. So I have to correct that one. I have already corrected for Tamil medium, but I thought that I have already corrected to you, but I didn't. I think I went through the video and found that I didn't correct that. So time to correct that. But in your book, they mentioned differently. So even if you follow your books in exam, they cannot, refuse the answer because, book is the source. But as a student who learns something newly, you have to be very good, right? You have to correct everything. So that's the reason why I'm correcting this one, right? Look here. So tell me, what is number 1? What's the name? Repeat it.
Element.
Yes, this is element. According to your book, it is element. Oh, yes, I also introduced that one as element. Element. Number 2?
Attribute.
Yes, that is attribute. Number 1, element. Number 2, attribute. What about number 3?
Value.
Yes, value. Okay, value, right. So why do we use attributes in HTML coding? Why attributes?
To describe the element.
Yes, good. Yes, it can describe the element, or even we can say it can give some additional information for element. Okay, of course, correct. And also, some of the attributes are optional. Some of the attributes are must, because up to now we studied a lot of things, right? Now you have the experiences. I repeat that some of the attributes which we learned are optional. Some of them are compulsory. Some of them are must. Can you give me a few attributes which are optional?
BG color.
Okay.
Align.
Align, yes, good.
Horizontal rule.
Height. Width.
Yes, there may be so many, right? Look at it. This is optional, right? I use the word optional because without this align, that element P alone creates a paragraph. No one can say that the P align justify can only create the paragraph. No, alone P can create. So which means align is an optional one. Yes, you mentioned about BG color. BG color is an optional, right? So without BG color, body can work or table can work. Yes, you mentioned about height and width in some other elements, maybe image, right? Horizontal rule. Look at the height and width. So without height, without width, image can be inserted. Without width or without size, horizontal rule can be inserted. So these are optional. Look, most of the attributes are optional, but there are some attributes which are must, right? Which are compulsory. Tell me some attributes which are must.
SRC.
Yes, good. SRC.
HREF.
Yes, HREF. Is there any other thing? No, right? Okay, we studied only these two, I think, right? SRC at the same time HREF. SRC is added to IMG. So without SRC, IMG is useless. Without HREF, which is useless.
Anchor tag.
Anchor.
Yes, anchor, right? A, the tag A is useless, right? You got the point, right? But the reason for showing this one again is to clarify one thing, right? Look here, according to your book, it is element. Number one is element. Your book says that it is element, but actually that can't be called element. So element is something which is different, but I cannot, violate the things which are mentioned in your book. That's why I just want to stick with the book. But at the same time, we have to correct that. Right, look here. Actually, this P, for example, say, look at this one. If it is title, okay, if it is title, this is tag. The entire component is called tag, right? TAG tag. But the word which is inside of these two angular brackets or angle brackets is called or can be called tag name, right? Tag name. There is actually no special words used to describe that. It is a tag, but the word inside of those two angular brackets can be called tag name. You don't have any special name here. So in this particular instance also, this number one, this is similar to this one, right? Look at that P. So how to call this P?
Tag name.
Tag name. So here number one may be the tag name, not the element. But your book says element, right? But this is tag name. But what is element? Look here. So element is nothing. Starting tag, then you know there should be some content, right? Content, for example, here title, then I have to give a title, right? Like my page or something, okay, my page, and closing tag, title. So this entire format is called element. So what is element? A starting tag and a content at the same time, the closing tag or end tag. So this whole thing is called element, right? Tag is only this one. When it comes to tag, you don't include the content, right? This is tag. Okay, this is also tag, starting, ending. But when it comes to element, it includes the content also. For example, here, look at that. This is the starting tag, right? We have added the attribute too, but this is the starting tag. Look here, you have the closing tag here. In between the starting tag and the closing tag, you have a paragraph, right? You have the content. That whole thing is called element. Starting tag, content, in this instance, it's a paragraph, and the closing tag or end tag. So that is called element. Clear? Have you understood?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, right? So if I take another example, look here, B, right? My school, B. So here, this is tag. This is also tag, but that is end tag. This is start tag or closing tag. Here, start tag. The word which is inside of that tag is tag name. As I told you earlier, this is not a special thing. This is just a word because tag, it has a word, so tag name. So what is element? The whole thing. This is element. Start tag, this is the content. Here, my school is the content and the closing tag. So altogether, it is called an element. Okay, so if you can correct that, but your book says that it is this one is element. Yes, since it is mentioned in your book, you can go through or you can stick with that one. Even if it is asked in exam, you can write it. But when we study something, we have to be correct, right? That's why I have corrected that one. If you can remember that, I will give everything in that particular tude. You can read and understand, right? Okay, right, look. So did I explain did I explain the tag font in the previous classes? Did I introduce that one? Font?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We studied, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about marquee?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so fine. So I think I have explained everything in HTML. Everything means everything which is in our syllabus, right? Okay, better I take one more second part question, and thereafter we can go and take the other things in our syllabus, which means in this particular unit. Someone asked me a question, right? Can we consider a text between starting tag and break tag as an element? What's the question? I couldn't understand. Can we consider the text between starting tag and break tag as an element? Break tag or closing tag? If it is a tag, right? There's a pair, right? Starting tag and a closing tag. So Dariha, what is your question? Can we consider text between starting tag and break tag as an element?
Sir,
Oh yes.
I meant that when we use break tag in between a sentence.
No. See, if it is break tag, you can't say element because break tag is an empty tag. So when it comes to element, there should be a pair, starting tag and closing tag. So if it is P, there should be a P, starting P and closing P. Right? So if it is anchor tag, there is an A, there is an A, starting. But when it comes to empty tags, you cannot have such thing because there is no pair. Right? So we have to focus on the same tag. Okay, B, starting, ending. And in between them, there should be some sentences or words or phrases. So altogether, that is called element, right? Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. So let me take one more second part question quickly. Okay, look at this one. I did one second part question in the previous class, right? I think in 2010, 20 question was done. Let's take one more question. Right, look here. Right, look here. Consider the following figure, which shows HTML source file with missing text and parameters labeled 1 to 8 on the left and its output on the right. Okay, this is the source code, which means HTML code, but blanks left. They are labeled from 1 to 8. On the right hand side, you have the output. Right, that particular web page is displayed on the right side. Okay. So since both of them are on side by side, it's too easy to compare, right? Because every time you have to check the coding and the output. You have to compare the coding and the output. So if they are in two different pages, sometimes it's hard, right? Every time you have to turn over the pages and find it. But since both of them are on the same page, side by side, it's too simple. Okay, have a look at that. You know the method, right? Look here. So we have the blank within the body, okay? Within the body. You have H2 and milk rice is there. Okay, milk rice. So now as a student, you have to find the milk rice on your output. Here it is, right? Here, look at the milk rice. So now keep an eye on the milk rice displayed on the output. You have to carefully observe its behavior. whether it is bold or whether it is right large or whether it is in the center position. So you have to check everything. Look here, H2 is already written. So it indicates that it's a heading. So you can clearly see that, look at the letters, they are slightly big. So now we realize it is because of H2. But there is one more tag needed before milk rice. What it is?
Center.
Tell me, what is it?
Center.
Yes.
Center.
Yes, that must be center, because even though you use H2, that must be displayed on the left alignment, on the left side. Okay, by default, every text is displayed on the left side, except the table TH, right? TH can put a heading inside of the cell at the same time in the center alignment. But all the other things will display the text on the left side. Students often confuse with these things because they may think that H1 to H6 can produce or can display the text on the middle or on the center. No, H1 to H6 can display the text as heading, but those headings definitely be displayed on the left side. Okay, but here milk rice is on the middle, on the center. Definitely number one should be center. Okay, so number one is center, right? Let's go to the next one. See, this is SRC. So since it is SRC, you can easily identify, right? What is it? What is number two?
IMG.
IMG.
IMG. If you have doubt, you can check the remaining part, right? Even though you found the answer, don't leave that or don't go to the other one. Better check the whole line and confirm it. Look at that, IMG SRC. Then we need the image name or path. So in this particular instance, the image name is written, right? milkrice.jpg. Okay, right. This is the image. Look at that. This is the image. Then, of course, they use ALT, milk rice. But since the image is displayed at the moment, you cannot see the alternate text here, because the word which is given in ALT can be displayed as a substitution for the image. So when image is not loaded, the word is displayed. But at the moment, image is loaded, right? So milk rice is not be there. Okay, so that is okay. Number two is IMG. You can find the answer from the list. The list is given. Look at that. The list is there here. We have, what is it? IMG, right? IMG is here. And also center is there, right? For the first one, center. Okay, fine. Next one, number three. P align. So since it's about value, because look at that, P align. So for align, you have four values: left, right, center, justify. Tell me, what is it? Number three.
Justify.
Justify.
Yes. Yes. Look here, this paragraph or this P creates this paragraph, particular paragraph. Look at the left side and the right side. Left side is straight and also the right side straight. Both sides are straight except the last sentence, because last sentence has few words. So except the last sentence, all the other sentences are straightened or aligned on both sides. So definitely it is justify. Okay, number three is justify. Check whether the list has justify. Here it is, right? You have justify. So the answer is okay. Right, fine. Then look here. You have Kiribat, but before that there is a tag. Even after that, the closing tag is there. Now go and check the output. What is it?
Emphasize.
Emphasize.
Right.
EM.
So here it goes slant, right? So here you have to select. Maybe now you have a confusion, right? Because I already explained about EM and I. So maybe I, maybe EM. But check the answer. They have both of them. EM also there. Even I also there. Italic also there. Okay. So in this particular instance, maybe I is the best option, I think, because here they just want to show this word in a different manner. But you can't say that there is the emphasis is given, or maybe they want to highlight it, or they want to give much importance. So better, the most appropriate word is I. But even though, even if you use EM, you know, they have to accept. But since the word need not to be given as importance, better go with I, right? But at the same time, we can take EM also. Maybe for grade 11, I think they accept both of them, right? EM and I, but the best option is I. Number 5. New year. Look here, in front of New Year and after New Year, you have blanks. So look at the output, it is in bold. So definitely it is B. Though you can't say here strong is there, right? It must be B. Check the output, you have the B. Okay, you have B. Number 6. Look here, number 6 is before that list, because you have LI here, right? LI here, so which means list. So this must be ordered list to unordered list. So go and check the list here. You have the list. So what is number 6?
UL.
This must be UL, because
UL.
look at the list, right? Look at the list. They have the this type bullet, right? So it must be UL, unordered list. Okay. Then list items are given, right? First one, second one. Okay, look at the third list item. This one, 4.5 cups of water. See, there is a tag in front of 1, and also that same tag is closed after 1. And there is a tag in front of 2, and it is closed after 2. Tell me what is 7 and what is 8?
SUP and SUB.
Okay, did we study these things earlier? Okay, I
Yes,
explained about superscript and subscript, but did we discuss the similar examples?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
2.5 or 3.5? Did we
Yes,
show
sir.
such
Yes,
patterns?
sir.
Yes, right? Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
now you have the idea. Okay, we can take the answer. So look at that. Look at the output, 4.5. So in this particular output, right, watch it carefully. In the particular output, number 4 and this slash are in the same level. Okay, number 4 and slash in the same level. But look at the size of that one. One is slightly smaller and it is slightly above, right? Slightly above to the normal level. So it must be superscript. At the same time, check the number 2. Again, the size of the number 2 is slightly smaller and it is slightly below to the normal level. So definitely number 7. Number 7.
SUP.
Superscript, right? SUP. Superscript, but the tag is SUP because number 7 is before and after 1. Look at the position of 1. This is slightly above, right? So superscript, SUP. Similarly, look at that number 2. Before and after, there is a tag, right? That must be, right? That must be SUB, subscript. Okay, number 7, superscript, which means SUP. Number 8, SUB. These are the things. Okay, it's too simple to do such questions because even words are also given, so you can easily pick them. But there are words more than the required words. That may be the issue for some students because look here, there are plenty of tags and attributes given, but you needed only 8. So there are some additional words given. You have to, ignore them and pick the right ones. Okay, any doubt in this question? But don't worry about this EM and I, right? Don't be confused, but understand the basic fact, right? In exam, even if you use IO EM, they can accept. Clear, right? Okay. Better I take one more question because we don't have enough time to take a new area. Okay, because I have to explain the other methods of designing web pages. Okay, 1 second. Do you remember the methods which can be used for designing web pages? I already introduced. Tell me, what are the methods used to design web pages? What are the two primary methods? Forget, right?
Languages and softwares.
Yes, we can design web pages, or we can develop web pages or websites rather using languages. So we used HTML as a language for designing web pages. So we got experiences, we know everything, right? After that, we should select softwares for designing web pages. So designing web pages in a software may be easier than handling languages, because even in HTML also there are tags. So you have to remember all these tags, then only you can design the page, right? But sometimes when you work in a graphical user interface of a software, it is too simple. It may be user friendly. So the next would be designing web pages in softwares or using softwares. Do you remember the two types of softwares which I mentioned earlier?
Paper
Authoring
CMS.
Yes,
content
good.
management.
Web authoring tools, and this is one type of software. The another one, content management system. So hereafter, we have to go to web authoring tools and designing some web pages, but I will not take much time for designing them because they're very simple. You can easily create them. So I need to introduce only those graphical user interfaces and some other features. I will not spend many classes. Maybe one class is more than enough. Okay, and also you should know about CMS. Okay, right. So since we don't have enough time to discuss them today, let me take one more question. One more second part question. Okay. Okay, better we can take this one. But here the output is above and the coding is below. So we have to scroll up and down to check it. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, look here. Consider the same, sample web page given in figure 1. This is figure 1, right? This one. Which is to be prepared using the source code shown in figure 2. The source code, which means HTML code, is given in figure 2. Okay, so look at that. This is the web page. This is the coding. Look at the question. Similar question. The code in figure 2 has 8 missing HTML tags or terms indicated by labels 1 to 8. Select the correct tags or terms for the labels from the list. Look at them. The list is given. SRC, justify, title, caption, H2, href, P, font. Write down the label number and the corresponding HTML tag or term. Right. Similar question. Look at them. So first of all, we can check the code. Look here, HTML. They have this head here, and we have a word or phrase, human-elephant conflict. So before and after this phrase, there is a tag needed. So remember, this phrase is in between the head tag. So, but unfortunately, on the output, okay, tell me what is number 1. You might have found it, right? Tell me what is number 1.
Title.
Yes, definitely it is title. You could easily identify because it is in between two head. So in between two head, we use title. So number one should be title. So this phrase, human elephant conflict, must be shown or must be displayed on the title bar of the web browser. But look at that. This output doesn't have the title bar. Actually, they show only the web page, maybe the body part. They don't show the title bar. So don't be confused, right? So you may think that the word human elephant conflict is not here, but this is different. Like, look at the human elephant conflict in Sri Lanka. That may be in the body. We can discuss later. So this must be on the title bar of the web browser, but title bar is not displayed here. So it is not an issue. Okay. So number one is title, right? Then body starts. Okay. Number two, body starts. Straight away, you have three blanks. Look at them. Number two, number three, number four. So when some blanks are continuously left, you must be very careful because sometimes it is difficult to find them. But if blanks are here and there, you can easily find it. But when they are continuous, you must be very careful in finding them. Right? Look here. We can check the phrase first. Human elephant conflict in Sri Lanka. Okay. Before that, they have face, Arial, color black. So now finding number 4 is very simple because they have the attribute face and color. So what could it be? Number 4.
Font.
Definitely it is font, right? Because the attribute face is only added to font. No other tags have this one as attribute, right? Only font. So number 4 should be font. Okay, but you cannot see that appearance. Okay, you can see because it's black and also Arial, but you may not have enough experiences in fonts, but this is in Arial font. Okay, number 4 is correct. Okay, before that you have two tags. Okay, you have two tags. Check carefully. Tell me what are those two things?
Heading and center.
Heading, what else?
Center.
Yes, look at that. It is in the center position, right? It is in the center position. So definitely it is center. Okay, center. And it is in big size, right? Then look at the letter size. It is big. So it must be heading, but you must be very careful in finding the heading size. You have range of headings, right? From H1 to H6. But since the letters seem to be very big, go with H1 or H2. It is not good to have H5 or maybe H4 or something. Sometimes they are given in the list along with H1, maybe H6 or H5 given. But don't select H5 or H6. Okay, they are headings, but they are too small. But they may not give both H1 and H2 because if they give H1 and H2, it's very tough to find the right one because actually it is a printed material, right? Your exam paper is a printed material. It is too difficult to find that exact size on a printed material. So better H1 or H2 is the best one. Look at the list. They have H2 only, right? They have H2 only, no H1. So it is H2. Okay. Number 2 or maybe number 3. You can take anything. Maybe number 2 is center. Number 3 is H2. Okay. Number 4 is font. Okay. Then look at the number 5. IMG, then blank. So don't think that a blank should be SRC. You have to check the remaining part because maybe next to IMG, they can be width, they can be height, they can be ALT. I already explained, right? There is no order for attributes, but we often write SRC along with IMG. We often follow that method, but it doesn't mean that it is must. So you have to check the remaining part. Look at that. The value here is the image name. Okay, along with extension, the image name is given. So now you can confirm, right? So number 5 must be SRC. Check the remaining thing. They have the width and they have the height. Of course, they are correct. Okay. And they use the center. That's why the image is in the center position, right? Look at that. This is the image. Clear? Right. Then look here. Center again, number 4. We have already written number 4. No need to write it again, but you can confirm. When a number is repeated, it is good for us because we can confirm the answer. Look at them. Face Arial, size 2. So it must be font. Elephants in their nature environment. Look at them. This one. Elephants in their nature environment. That is the one. Font size is 2. That's why it's slightly smaller. And also, of course, it is in the center position, right? Okay. Number 6. Look here. Align. Then elephant population in Sri Lanka in. So that is a paragraph, right? Look at that. This is a paragraph. Okay. So we can see that as a paragraph because before the paragraph starts, there is a blank line, right? You can see that there is an empty line. Even after paragraph ends, there is an empty line. These are some symptoms for confirming the paragraph. Okay, so definitely this needs to be a paragraph. Okay, let's go and check the coding for paragraph. So it must be, oh, okay, what is number 6? What is number 6?
P.
P, right? P, align. So we need a value there. So check the paragraph. So what is number 7?
Justify.
Yes, it must be justify, right? Both sides are aligned. So it must be justify. Okay, then the paragraph starts, right? Then 6 over, right? We have one more blank. Look here, again and again, number 4 is repeated. If you want, you can check it. So this must be font. Number 6 also repeated. We have another paragraph. More information about conflict. That is also paragraph. Look at that. This is the paragraph. Even though it seems to be a sentence, it is a paragraph because there is a blank line above that particular paragraph. You can see that. Look at that. There is a new line, right? Blank line. It is because of that P. Right, that's fine. So number 6, even number 7, we can confirm it as justify. Okay, this is justify. Then number 8. Look at that. More information about the conflict between the humans and the elephants can be found in. Then they start A, and there is a URL, and then they have I, the conflict something. It's very simple because even though the word or sentence seems to be complex, you can easily identify because there is an element in the name of A, right? Since it is A, it must have href. Check, there is no href written. So definitely number 8 must be href. Of course, you can check the value. Look at that. Since it is href, the value should be the web page name or the path of the web page or the URL of the web page to be linked. I repeat it. The value for that href must be the web page name to be linked, or maybe the path of the web page to be linked, or maybe a URL of the web page to be linked. But look at that. This is a URL, right? So since it is a URL, definitely 8 is href. Okay. Then they have the remaining things. Look at the output and check, confirm it. Look here, the sentence comes here, starts there, can be found in, up to in things are common, right? More information about the conflict between the humans and the elephants can be found in. Okay, look at that. From here to here, sorry, here to here, things are simple because it's a paragraph. But thereafter, hyperlink starts. Look at them, A. So, you know, this URL cannot be displayed on the output, right? You cannot see that URL here. It can be here for taking you to the website. So you cannot see the output here, but you have definitely, you can see the output on the, you can see this text on the output. the conflict, but not the conflict is in between two anchor tag. Okay, the anchor tag starts here. This is the starting anchor tag. This is the closing anchor tag. Closing anchor tag is written, this one, closing anchor tag. So in between starting and closing anchor tag, you have the word conflict. So definitely the word conflict will have the link. So since the word conflict or the conflict gets the link, it must have underline. You can see the underline there, right? So don't be confused with the underline, right? This underline is displayed because of the hyperlink, not because of you. Okay. At the same time, they have I. Okay, they have I. So the word goes to italic. Clear? So answering the questions for HTML final paper is very simple. You have to prepare for some most important things, most important tags, especially table, right? Paragraph, images, hyperlinks, often asked. Images, hyperlinks, headings, often asked. Okay, so that's it for today. I conclude the HTML. In the next class, we can take the other two methods. We can finish them in a single class. I don't want to spend much time for teaching those two things, right? That those two software. Okay, so that's it for today. Send your names, please. Okay, so if you have any doubt in lessons, you have the freedom to ask questions, so ask your doubts during that particular period. While I'm teaching, you can ask. Or even if you have any issues in asking the question in that particular class, you can send that question to my WhatsApp. After some time, maybe may not be in the next class, but after some time, I can compose or I can collect some questions and explain. Okay, so you have to be, I mean, good in everything. Don't have any doubt in any areas. Don't study the things which doubt. Okay, with doubt. That's it for today. See you next time. Thank you.